Hi friends, welcome back to Shelby and the book club. I am Shelby Monet and this is our very first video of 2023. We survived 2022. We are blessed, we are grateful, and in today's video we are just going to go over some of my reading goals and talk about my January TBR. So if you would like to hear it, here it go. And also you are going to hear my child in the background of this video. His name is Gunner. Come, show the people your face. His name is Gunner and he wants to be a part of the video also as well. Look, say hi to the people. Say hello, handsome boy. Make sure you subscribe so that I could buy him some more treats. Okay, first let's talk about some reading goals. So as you guys may know from my previous video, which I will tag somewhere up here, my goal for 2023 is to read between 50 and 75 books. I will be using Goodreads, I will be using Storygraph, and I'm also going to be tracking it in a journal, but I'm going to make a separate video about that because I don't think enough people know about Storygraph, and it was created by a Black woman. And I love the statistics on there a lot better than I do on Goodreads. They both kind of have their pros and their cons. But I'm really loving Storygraph. So I'm going to do a whole video about how I plan to track what I'll be using, what journal I'll be using, so on and so forth. So between 50 and 75 books. I am doing the Shelby and the 23 nonfiction book challenge. So I plan for 23 of those books to be nonfiction, a variety of nonfiction, not just memoirs. I want to dabble some self-help in there. I want to dabble some historical nonfiction in there. I want to do the reading. If you are going to be joining that, let me know down below. The Discord will be in the description bar, so that you guys can join the Discord and do that whole bit and so on and so forth. Which is why the first book of 2023 is From Scratch by Timby Locke. You guys may be familiar with this because it was a Reese Witherspoon book club pick, but it is also a series on the Netflix, which I plan to watch after I read this. So I'll probably do like a review video or something like that on this. This one, it says it's a memoir of love, Sicily, and finding home. I know a lot of people talked about how it made them cry. But from what I heard, it was a very hopeful cry. It wasn't just a sad sort of thing. So I want to read it first to get like the actual story and then see what, you know, how the series compares. And there seems to be recipes in this book, which is really cool to me. Like really cool to me. Because I don't know that I've read a book that also included the recipes in it as well. And now for the rest of this, in no particular order, we have The Bird Tattoo by Dunya McHale. I have just been in the mood for like a Middle Eastern story that takes place in like Iraq or Iran or somewhere on that side of the world. So this says Helen is a young Yazidi woman living with her family in a mountain village in Sinjar, northern Iraq. One day she finds a local bird caught in a trap and frees it, just as the trapper, Elias, a journalist from Mosul, returns. At first angry, he soon sees the error of his ways and vows never to keep a bird captive again. So I'm assuming they like fall in love and all the rest of this. I've been in a mood where I don't want to read the synopsis all the way. Like all I really need is for somebody to tell me that it's good, or for the cover to look good, or for it to have some sort of, like, okay, like I said, I was looking for something that took place in Iraq, Iran, the Middle Eastern, that sort of thing. Because I've been missing the book that I read 2 years ago, Aria. I really liked the placement of that book. I liked the story. I liked that it was a family saga. It was really good. So there's that. Next, we have The Color of Family by Jerry McGill. This one seems like it's going to be heavy. So it says Devon and James Payne are brothers and rivals since childhood, but they share an affinity for sports that brings glory to their Connecticut town and promise for the future. But then there is some sort of car accident. One becomes paralyzed, the other one does not. And it kind of puts a rift in the family, and this sounds interesting. Y'all know I like anything that discusses family trauma or generational trauma. I just, especially when it is talking about Black families, there are a lot of things that Black people do not talk about, because generationally we were just told to shut up about it. And it's not healthy. We need to talk about the things. We need to talk about our feelings. And lately I just find it it needs to be a, like, specifically Black men too. Because they never had the freedom to talk about their feelings or their trauma, and it is just one domino in a domino effect of other issues that we have as a people. So there is that. Next, I have the Harmattan Rain, I think that's how you pronounce that, by Aisha Haranan Atta, who is Ghanaian. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. This book, I don't know what it's about. It says it follows 3 generations of women as they cope with family, love, and life. A few years before Ghana's independence, Lizzie Achia's lover disappears. Intent on finding him, she runs away from home. Okay, so I saw this author's name and ordered another book by this author. Gunner. I ordered another book by this author, and then I saw this one, and I'm like, oh, this looks like something right up my, stop putting your teeth on me, looks like something right up my alley. But then I couldn't find the book, so now I want to read it even more, because I had to go on a scavenger hunt, like a couple of websites. I had committed my life to walking the earth to find this book. Like, it was a lot happening to get my hands on this book, like a whole lot. So now I'm even more interested in reading it and to see what this author has to offer. I couldn't find it on Amazon. I couldn't, like, where I get the bookstore books from, couldn't find it from there. I couldn't, no Barnes and Nobles, no, I could not find, listen, I had to go to thrift books and find it that way. I was like, I know y'all lying. Gunner, you're gonna get beat up. This is as good as it gets. I'm trying to record. Next we have a little tiny book, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And on the front of this, it says, what would you change if you could travel back in time? What would I change if I could travel back in time? I don't know. But this says, in a small back alley of Tokyo, there is a cafe that has been serving carefully brewed coffee for more than 100 years. Local legend says that this shop offers something else besides coffee, the chance to travel back in time. It's a small book. It's giving me 5 People You Meet in Heaven vibes. And I remember that book being like life-changing to me when I was in high school. So I'm really excited, and you know I'm always trying to read outside of my comfort zone, read different authors. Could you cut it out, please? Thank you. So yeah, and then last but certainly not least, we have All That She Carried. I feel like I spoke about this book earlier last year, but this is a nonfiction about Ashley's sack, the journey of Ashley's sack. So it says in 1850, South Carolina, an enslaved woman named Rose faced a crisis: the imminent sale of her daughter Ashley. Thinking quickly, she packed a cotton bag for her with a few items, and soon after, the 9-year-old girl was separated from her mother and sold. Decades later, Ashley's granddaughter Ruth embroidered this family history on the sack in spare, haunting language. Historian Tia Miles carefully traces these women's faint presence in records, and where archives fall short, she turns to objects, art, the environment to write a singular history and experience of slavery and the uncertain freedom afterward in the United States. All That She Carried is a poignant story of resilience and love passed down against deep odds. It sounds really good. I definitely have talked about it before, and again, it will add to my 23 nonfiction books for the year. So let me know in the comments, are you going to be reading any of these books? I will have them linked down below if you want to purchase any of them from Shelby in the Bookstore. Sales are always appreciated and welcomed around here. But let me know what you plan to read. Are you reading the book club pick? Are you going to read from scratch? And are you joining the challenge? If no one has told you today, I love you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you've made it this far in the video, leave a book emoji in the